Bear me for a minute. Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua B'Shem Kakodash. And I'm going to entitle this video. This is sort of an update to the last video that I did. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. What is critical thinking? So the title of this video is critical thinking. What does it mean? And I wanted to get into it on this one, and I kind of closed I finished this video, and I should have went deeper into that. I had it set up to go into it. When you come to this truth and you listen to somebody that calls himself teaching you this truth as far as Israel goes, we in general, we know that we're Israelites, but it goes deeper. You have to understand the whole book. Ezekiel, the Most High told Ezekiel to eat the whole roll, right? It was also told to John on the Isle of Patmos that he was given a little book and to eat it, and it was in his mouth, sweet as honey, and it became bitter in his belly. In other words, it tastes good when you're eating it, when you find out you're an Israelite, but then when you get into it, it's not so sweet. You go through a lot of situations. We got to deal with scoffers, all kind of madness. So that's the bitter part of it. But in coming into this truth and somebody teaching you, you have to have a critical mind. Why are you in IUIC and not in ISUPK? Why are you in ISUPK and not in GMS? Why are you in HODC but not in Sakari? And I'm pretty sure you people that went on YouTube and watched the videos, if you saw your first video, might have been IUIC, but then I'm pretty sure you're familiar with GMS, ISUPK, Sakari, HODC, and the others. HOI, just to name some. Then you got the newer ones. I mean, I'll be here all day naming names, but those are some of the more major camps that you a lot of videos are put up under these names, right? Well, each camp is a little bit different. They may have 95%, maybe 98% speak the same thing, but there's certain things that other camps speak differently on. So if you watch IUIC videos and ISUPK videos and GMS videos, for whatever reason you said, I'm going to get with IUIC. The spirit is on its own IUIC. I don't know why we're not really getting on ISUPK, because they teach the same exact thing. So when you come into any of these groups, and especially if you come into GMS, I stress that you have to think critically. You have to get this right in your own mind. What is that? Romans 14:5. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. You can't come into this and just keep the Passover. We had a lot of individuals come into this about a month or 2 months before the Passover. We ain't going to invite them to the Passover. That was a major mistake that ISUPK did with inviting Sarnetta to the Passover. He didn't understand the Passover, and he didn't keep the Passover. ISUPK caused him to keep the feast unworthily, because I guarantee you they didn't sit down and tell him, well, look, you can't, this is for a whole week. You can't, you got to throw out all the leaven in your house. You can't eat leaven. You can't eat pizza. You can't do this. You can't drink that. You can't do this. I'm positive they didn't say that. So he really didn't keep the Passover. So why would you invite somebody to partake of the Passover when it's going to condemn him? And he did it 2 years, so he's doubly condemned. So we're not going to have a guy that he comes into this, he's watches for 2 months or whatever, and Passover comes up. I want to come to the Passover. Well, you can't come to the Passover because you gotta digest this truth by learning and applying critical thinking. The church of Berea, the Apostle Paul said the church of Berea in Acts 17 was more noble than the church of Thessalonica because they studied the scriptures to see if those things that Paul said were true. They analyzed the scriptures. They used the concept called critical thinking. When you go into IUIC, I'm just dealing with IUIC. I could have mentioned ISUPK or any other group out there that teaches that don't have the understanding of the charagma. When they break it down to you, you gotta apply critical thinking. And you guys don't do this. You say that's the guy. The Most High is dealing with that guy because I had a dream about him or whatever the case may be, and he tells you something and you just go by it, the precept package thing. You can't be no more wrong than the IUIC and the ISUPK or whoever group that teaches that. And you still got clowns out, Israelites out there teaching Cornelius is an Edomite, man. Remember, we got kicked out of the house of David because we believed that Cornelius was an Israelite and not an Edomite. And then years later, all these guys that said that Cornelius was an Edomite are now teaching that Cornelius is an Israelite. ISUPK is teaching that Cornelius is an Israelite. IUIC is teaching Cornelius is an Israelite. I don't know about HODC and I don't know about priest Zabak. Now, if you're teaching that Cornelius is an Edomite, you're going off. See, what you're doing is regurgitating what you learned from the school. When you teach that the image of the beast is a picture of Caesar Borgia, you're clearly, and that doesn't make any sense in your mind, man. If you have a critical thinking mind, these people in the IUIC are nothing but mockingbirds. They regurgitate what they listen to what the leadership says, and they regurgitate it. And this is the spirit warning them for the last time. That's why I just made a couple of videos a couple of days ago. Then I was just watching a video that the elder Yashabamba out of Texas or Dallas put together. Then he was doing it based upon another video, which he mentioned other videos, and then Apostle Rhymelab did a video on it. So you got other brothers. I'm not going to mention all their names, but that's the spirit. The spirit is like the wind, man. That's the spirit. Anyway, I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to deal with this word, this term, if I can find it. Where the hell is it? All right, right here. Critical thinking. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is the analysis of available facts. So facts are put before you, and you have to see whether they're facts or not. Evident, like when we go on the street and when we teach and we go into the color of the Lord, what do we use? We bring out Revelation chapter 1, Daniel chapter 9, and other scriptures where it says woolly hair. Now you got this guy, Vocab Malone, that say, well, that's not talking about that. That's why nobody takes the guy seriously. It's the evidence is overwhelming that the people of the Bible are people of color. You can't get around that. Moses was taken into the house of the Pharaoh and the daughter of the Pharaoh said that the gods, the Ra, Amen Ra gave me this. Do you really think that she as a black woman, brought in a white baby? The original Egyptians are so-called black people, not people of different shades and colors. The original Egyptians are so-called black people because they came out of Ham. Even Google tells you that, man. They'll tell you the sons of Ham, and they'll mention the four sons, and he said those are currently the black Africans, or something to that effect. So for anybody that thinks that that the Lord is a so-called white man and counted the Israelites, you're a goddamn fool. You're a fucking idiot. You're an ignoramus. You're an asshole. Especially you Jakes. And who's following this guy, Vocab Malone? Jakes. The Most High is going to destroy every last one of them if they don't get from around that devil. Critical thinking is the analysis of available facts, evidence, observations, and arguments to form a judgment. The subject, now if somebody in GMS says, well, I don't see that tar, I see it. You know what I'll say? We're not gonna argue with you. If you don't see it, get to stepping. All right. The subject is complex. Several different definitions exist, which generally include the rationale, you being rational, skeptical, that means, checking everything out, and unbiased analysis. Now, you might say, I'm going to go with it. I'm in IUIC because my cousin is in IUIC. It says an unbiased analysis, or evolution of factual evidence. When more evidence comes in, it's overwhelming that we're the people. It's overwhelming that we're the people. That's why they say Deuteronomy 28 and 68 is not talking about black people going to see. It damn sure is. Oh, it says that they're going to sell their souls, but nobody's going to buy it. And when the fuck did that happen in history? If somebody come up to me and says, I want to be your slave, you can be my slave. So let's look at this. People also ask, it says, what is the meaning critical thinking? Critical thinking is the intellectually, see, a lot of you niggas ain't intellectual minded. You lack intellect. Critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined. What does discipline mean? When you do something and you apply yourself to it, you don't go to the right hand or to the left hand. If MJ Michael Jordan wanted to be the greatest, he had to apply discipline. Discipline process. It's a process. You have to grow in this thing. You can't come into this truth and a week later, I'm going to do my own thing. And that's what the Bishop Nathaniel did when they left the school, because they didn't learn everything from High Priest Ariel. High Priest Ariel was the main teacher. That's why there's certain scriptures that he can't break down to this day. He ain't gonna touch. Second Ezra 11 and Second Ezra 12. He's not gonna touch it. He's not gonna touch it. The only part he's gonna touch in either Second Ezra 11 or Second Ezra 12 is a part where it says where Ezra received the vision that this is the vision that was given to your brother Daniel. And then you know what Bishop Nate does? Then he goes to Daniel 7. And then, oh, wow. Because he doesn't know that he would not touch it. And he knows that. If he's watching this video now, he will not touch Second Ezra. And none of them will. Priest Sabak wouldn't touch it. The HODC wouldn't touch it. None of them would touch it. They don't touch Daniel chapter 9. They don't touch Daniel chapter 11. There's certain precepts that they won't, or breakdowns that they won't go into because it wasn't taught by them. These guys are mockingbirds, man. It says critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully, what does it say in Hebrews? Matter of fact, I'm going to go to it. Instead of quoting it, I'm going to actually go to it. You have to have your senses exercised. Hebrews, what is that? Hebrews, I believe that's Hebrews. Is it 5 and 12 or 12 and 5? Let me go to 12 and 5. That's a good one anyway. That's Hebrews. Let me go to Hebrews 5 and 12. Hebrews 5 and 12. Hebrews 5 and 12 to 14, I believe. I'll start at start at 11, but because it said that you're dull of hearing. It says, of whom we have many things to say and hard to be uttered, seeing you are dull of hearing. See, they're dull of hearing. These guys that are teaching this nonsense. 12 verse. For the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which is the first principles of the oracles of the Most High, and are become such as have need of milk and not a strong meat. Now, what's strong meat? Strong meat would be the grape doctrine. What happened when that was brought out, when Brother Polite rolled up on us and asked us, and we broke it down? I'm gonna say all of them Israelites, all of them, every last one of them came against it. They got all emotional. Why? Because they choked on the meat. Bishop Nate, he choked. General Yohana, he choked. The leadership of the Sakari, they choked, and they still choking. They all choked. So you have one that need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High. Now, who eventually saw it and brought it out? A woman, a Napar Shada. And then she made this knucklehead, Sarnetta, see it, and we know why. Yeah, it's right. I can see it. Nah, I can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, you can see clearly now. The rain is gone. No, you saw it because she saw it. Because she applied what? Critical thinking. And you niggas should be ashamed of your motherfucking selves. That woman got to come up and break it down the right way. Shit is embarrassing, man. It says, for everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, which is the scriptures, for he is a babe. You guys are still babes because you choked on a little piece of meat. Let me look up the word unskillful. Skillful means to apply critical thinking. The Church of Berea applied critical thinking. Inexperience in, without experience of. You guys, like I said, you're mockingbirds, man. You basically Han and Enter the Dragon. He learned everything from the Shaolin Temple and did his own thing. And he almost like IUIC. They all wear the same geese, and all they do is out there in the damn field throwing punches with the white geese. And when they got in the fight, they all got their asses whipped. That's the Bishop Nate. I hate to say it, but you the Han of Israel, man. It says for everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. You're still a babe. But strong meat. What is a strong meat? Now, when that grape doctrine came out, y'all should have said, yeah, it's harsh, but it's true. It's true. We went into the Hebrew. And another thing, you guys don't go deep because you don't go into the Hebrew and or the Greek. One guy said, if he can remember, he said they gotta make a doctrine out of the Greek. When you go into the Greek, you gotta go into the Greek. It said, but strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses, mind, exercised to what? To discern both good and evil. Study to show thyself approved, a workman needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So let's pull these words out. If you applied critical thinking, if you were like the church of Berea, you would not be following the IUIC or the ISUBK. So let me look up the word senses. Faculty of the mind for what? Perceiving, understanding, and judging. Part of critical thinking is judging a matter. You just can't put a judge up there. A guy went to law school, he been in the law school for 6 months, and you're gonna say, I'm gonna make you a judge. That'll be the worst judge in the world. Faculty of the mind. I'm pointing my finger to my head. For perceiving, understanding, judging. Going to the root word. To perceive by the bodily senses, with the mind, understand, to understand. Critical thinking. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Not, I'm with it, because everybody else is with it. Let's come back over here. And look, the MOTB is what we say it is, 100%. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. But what if you realize that you're wrong? We're not going to be wrong. We're right. Ain't no wrong in this conversation, all right? It says a full age. By reason of use have their senses, which is the mind, exercises. Look at the word exercise. You can't take a kid in kindergarten or first grade and all of a sudden he did real well. You're going to put him in graduate school. It doesn't work that way. To exercise naked. Well, that goes back to the Greeks and a palestra or school of athletics. That goes back to the Greeks. And Paul knew about that. To exercise vigorously in any way, either the body or the mind. when you're constantly reading, when you're constantly analyzing things, your mind is actually exercising. For lack of a better term, you build up the muscles in your mind. You can't regurgitate. You can't just, well, he said it. I read it out the precept package. It's right here in the precept package. That's why when the guy from Detroit, he had the school in Detroit, and them Jakes rolled up what do you call it? Those Jakes led by Elder Mike rolled up and asked asked the dude who's the king in Deuteronomy 28:36. And then the guy, they looking in the book. They go, oh, is that in the precept package? No, that ain't in the precept package. You ain't got no precept package. And I'm just bugging on you guys. Hey, I still love IUIC. You're still Israelites at the end of the day, but I'm clowning on you a little bit. That wasn't in the precept package. You forgot that. You gotta update the precept packet. And guess what? They still don't know what that means. They don't know what that means. So he was looking, the other guy looking, this guy looking in the sky. He going to his car, seeing if he can find a precept packet. And then the guy looks up and says, "No, white man." Then they started laughing, man. And you were put to shame. It said, "Needeth rightly dividing the word of truth, needeth not to be ashamed." I'm paraphrasing. Needeth not to be ashamed. Study to show thyself approved, a workman, needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Ain't no way in the world you're going to say that the king in Deuteronomy 28:68 is talking about the white man. But he probably misheard it. I'll give him that. But he didn't have the answer, because eventually he would have said it. Then he went to Hosea. He was kind of in the right ballpark. It was King David. There wasn't no King Tacky either. Wasn't no King Tacky. It was King David. There's one true king. We're all king, but the one king is talking about King David. It says both to discern. I don't have to look that up. Both good and evil. That's also in Malachi. Malachi 3 verse. Matter of fact, let me go to that. Malachi verse 3. Because Apostle Kabar used that scripture because I went through it. So that's a bad scripture. I'm gonna start using that. I mean, he went through it before, but it kind of brought back to his memory. Okay, the book of remembrance. What's the book of remembrance? The scriptures, right? I will bring all things to your remembrance. The book of Jude, right? Then they that feared the Lord Yahweh spake often one to another. How do we speak to each other? Mainly by the YouTube. And Yahweh hearkened, listened, and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for us, to the prophets of old, but it refers to us now. The things that are written aforetime are for our learning, that we through comfort of the scriptures might have hope. It says the fear of Yahweh, and that thought upon his name. What is the Most High's name? Yahweh. His son's name is Yahweh Shai. And they, 17th verse, and they shall be mine, saith Yahweh of hosts, and that in that day when I make up my jewels. What does it mean to make up your jewels? Bring the tribes back together, because they're all Jews. They each represent a stone. That's in Revelation 21. Each tribe represents a stone. And I will spare them, the elect, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. We are his sons. Go to John, the 1st chapter. Sons of the Most High. As many as have received them have become sons of the Most High. You got these wacky Christians saying, "Oh, let's talk about it." He came into his own, and he went to the Israelites. They didn't accept him. The Israelites were scattered all over the world. So what the hell are you talking about? It says, 18 verse, then shall ye return and what? And discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not, good and bad. The scriptures, you're able to decipher between good and bad. We identified this man. Who are the Edomites? Now you got vocab saying that all the Edomites are done away with. Where's the receipts? Me as a critical thinker, where's the receipts? Did you have an interview with the last Edomite? Like you got a movie interview with a vampire? Vocab. Where's the interview of you with the last Edomite? Interview with the last Edomite. Look in the mirror, you see an Edomite. So I think I'm finished with that, and I'm gonna close it. So if you were to apply critical thinking, you would you know you would question your leaders that's teaching this wacky ass doctrine that the MOTB is well, the image is a picture of Caesar Borgia, which is complete bullshit, horse shit. And well, they say that they change it too. They say it's Christianity. Then now they're saying it's sin. They used to say it was an embargo. So I'm gonna see if I go to the store and buy something, I'm gonna film it. And it's because I don't got the mark. So you got to have the mark to buy and sell, right? So let's see if I can do that. Shalom.